Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing something that once again has not been done for like 2 or 3 years, and no one does them on YouTube anymore, but I find them fun and I'm still relatively new to YouTube, so we're doing it. It is a tag video. And today we're going to be branching away from the AuthorTube side of things and dabbling a little bit more into the BookTube side and looking at the Guilty Readers tag. This is a series of 10 questions. I'll try and blast through them so I'm not boring you all. Let's just see how it goes. So the first question is, have you ever regifted a book that you have been given? And the answer is yes, I have. And it won't be in a mean way. It won't be like I'll take a look at a book and be like, oh great, thanks, I totally wanted this, on to the next person. It's not like, you know, you get a bottle of wine that you're not particularly fond of and you just hand it over at the next birthday or Christmas event kind of thing. It's not like that at all. It is if I've read a book and I've enjoyed it, or I have more than one copy of a book, then I will regift it. I have given so many of my old books to my sisters because a few of them are readers. Same with my cousins. I mostly regift them to family. If I'm ever going to give a book to a friend, then I'll make sure that it is one that they actually want and it's one that I'm definitely not going to read again. So it's never in a mean-spirited way, but yes, I have regifted books. Our second question is, have you ever said that you've read a book when you haven't? And the answer is yes. Like when I was in... my primary school was very weird. When Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter first started, you know, gaining popularity and the movies started coming around similar times, my primary school divided itself. You were not allowed to like both. You either liked Lord of the Rings or you liked Harry Potter. By that point, I had read Harry Potter, so I was firmly on that side. However, any friends that I had in different primary schools, you know, they were more mixed in their reading. They didn't have a division. So I would tell them, yes, I've read Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about, just to sort of fit in, even though I had no clue what anyone was talking about. And it actually took me, I still haven't read the books now, and that's another little guilty admission. I've never read the Lord of the Rings books. That they are on my list. And I think it was only in the past few years have I actually seen the films. They're good. They are good films, and the world building is fantastic. I have no grievances with Lord of the Rings whatsoever, but for some reason my primary school said that you had to like one or the other. So I would lie. Question number 3. Have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? Honestly, I don't know. I don't think so. I hate it with a passion when I've borrowed books and people don't give them back, and then it's gone months and months and months, and then you say, oh hey, did you ever get around to reading this thing? And they go, oh, you know what, I haven't actually picked it up yet, sorry. And I'm like, I know you have no intention of reading it again yourself, just to know that it's with you is a bit of a reassurance. So I like to think that I've returned every book that someone has let me borrow, but I actually can't remember. No one's mentioned it to me, and I don't remember borrowing any books recently, so I think I'm in the clear on that one. I think I'm in the clear. Number 4, have you ever read a series out of order? And the answer is yes. Not intentionally, it was purely accidental. If I'm ever going to get into a new series now, then I make sure I do my research and figure out what order they go in, so I'm not accidentally reading, you know, the last one first or anything like that, because spoilers just drive me crazy. But I have done it before. Again, when Harry Potter was first becoming a big thing, I didn't really know what people were raving about, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a read, and I picked up the first book of Harry Potter that I saw in the shop that day, which happened to be Goblet of Fire. So you've got little, I don't know, 9-year-old me reading this absolute brick of a book where it starts off nowhere near Hogwarts and then talking about the Quidditch World Cup, and I'm just there like, I've got no clue what anyone is going on about. How is this caught on? It's so confusing. And then I realised that they were talking about Harry's 4th year, and I was like, I see what I've done wrong here. Another time was Serious Unfortunate Events. I got the first 3 books and thought that the cover of the, again, young, innocent, naive me, who didn't really pay much attention to what the blurb said, it was just, yeah, as you do. I thought the cover and the title of the 3rd book looked the most interesting, so I started reading that one first, and again had no idea what was going on until I then saw the movie where they crammed the first 3 books into one movie and realised, oh, I see where I've gone wrong. I'm sure I've done it again, but those are the 2 that really stand out at the moment. Number 5, have you ever spoilt a book for somebody? Again, not intentionally, and I don't think I have. If I've ever done it, I've made sure, like, hey, I'm reading this book, it's really cool, do you have any interest in reading it, before I talk about it. If they go, nah, it's not really my kind of thing, but go ahead anyway, then I'll be like, oh, this happened, just because I want to talk about it. If they turn around and say, oh yeah, it's on my list, or oh, I'm halfway through that, and okay, tell me what point you're at so I can talk with you about it up to that point, and then I'll stop. Because I hate spoilers, so I don't want to put it on anyone else. So if I've ever done it, it's not intentional, or they've given me permission to spoil it. Number 6, have I ever dog-eared a book page? And I used to, before I discovered how creative you could get with bookmarks, dog-earing was just my way to go because it was easier and I didn't really care too much, and it was just, oh, I've got to do something, and off I go. Now, I think this started when I was in uni. I now hate when people bend pages or crack spines or dog-ear pages. It goes right through me. For our honeymoon, when we were flying to Greece, we were sitting next to a woman that would be reading, and she'd be like bending it and cracking the spine on her knee just to make it bend the right way, and she folds the book over just to read one page and then like stuff it into it. Oh, my skin was crawling the entire way. I used to do it, I now hate it, and why do people do it? Number 7, have you ever told someone that you don't own a book when you do? I don't think so, no. I think there's been books that have been like, oh god, yeah, I have this in my collection and I've read it, but I'm not a big fan of it, or it's got some like stigma against it, whereas like, you know, why do you have this? Like, I don't know, I've just read it just because. I don't think I've ever denied it. I think the only time I've ever maybe lied like that was if like I accidentally, oh, do you have this book? No, I don't think so, and then it turns out I do. But again, accidental. Other than that, no, I am completely honest about the books that I have. So on similar lines, we have number 8. Have you ever told someone that you haven't read a book when you have? No, don't think so. If I'm honest about the books I own, I'm going to be honest about the books I read, and if people are like, oh god, you've read that? I'm like, yeah, so what? Yeah, I know, it's awful, but it was a phase or something like that. I don't know, I'm very honest about that. Number 9, have you ever skipped a chapter or a section of a book? And yes, I have. And this one I am kind of ashamed to admit, but if there is a book that I am really struggling to get through, or is badly written, or just, you know, I used to do it as, again, when I was in university or school, and it was like compulsory, you have to read this for the course, but then you only knew that you were getting questions about certain sections. I would only read those sections, and yeah. If I'm really enjoying the book, then no, I like to read page to page to page all the way through, because I'm enjoying it. But if there's a book that I really don't like, but I'm dedicated to finishing, or if there's a book that I need to read, but there's only certain bits of information that I need to take away, then yeah, I'll skip. I'll skim, I'll maybe skip a chapter or 2, or just jump to another section where I know that things are going to be happening just to get through it faster. But it's only on a very rare occasion. I don't do it that often. And number 10, have you ever bad-mouthed a book that you've actually enjoyed? Yeah, of course I have, because there is no such thing as a flawless book. Every book has its issues, whether it's pacing or certain character development or certain cliches that sneak in every now and again. I have so many books that I absolutely adore, but I am fully aware that they are flawed, and if someone wants to be like, oh, you read that, but this part of it is so awful. Yeah, that part is awful, but there's these other bits that are actually really great. I mean, at my blog, for example, where I review different films, games, TV shows, and books, and I will be completely fair and say what is good and what is bad. Even if it gets like a really high rating at the end, like an 8 or 9 out of 10, there will still be things that will stop it from being a 10 out of 10 because I will criticize. I don't badmouth books that I like in a, oh god, this was effing shit or something like that. I do it in a critical way of pros and cons and being honest when a book fails to hit a mark somewhere along the line. So yeah, that was my guilty reader book tag. I can't remember the exact name, I will have to look it up, but yeah, those were the 10 questions, and this was really fun. And I know that very few people do tag videos anymore. You do see them pop up every now and again. I just find them really fun, and it's a good time to just be honest and have a bit of a laugh and chat and just get to know you guys a little bit better, get to know me as you do. So I'm not necessarily going to tag anybody, but if any of you guys want to give this a go, then please do. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, my scribblers.